Hey guys, Billy Epperhart here, and I'm really excited today to be talking to you about 3 actions for investing in yourself. And I'm taking it right out of my book on money mastery. You're able to actually go to your local bookstore and get this, or you can order it on Amazon. It's called Money Mastery, Billy Epperhart. But I have people ask me all the time, whenever I'm speaking, they'll come up to me and they say, I have $1,000 to invest. What should I invest in? Or they'll say, I have $5,000 to invest. What should I invest in? Well, the first thing you should invest in is invest in yourself. In other words, and that has to do with the first action you take for investing in yourself, which is learning. And so all of us need to be, no matter what our age is, young or older, we need to learn to invest in ourselves, and we do that by learning. And one way to do that in learning is really discipline yourself to try to read something positive and inspirational for 30 minutes every day. I mean, do it every day. Of course, a good place to start is the Bible, and you can also use daily devotionals. But then one of the things that I do besides learning in the area of the spiritual life is I also apply what I teach in the book called The Law of Wisdom, where I try to gain knowledge in specific areas of things that maybe I don't understand as well or know as much about. For example, if you were going to read, learn about, and practice learning, say for example about real estate, you would take the time to read some real estate books, learn some things about real estate, and then in that teaching on the law of wisdom, you have to first of all get knowledge, then secondly you develop understanding when you get in the game, and then thirdly, of course, you would develop wisdom. But first of all, in this first phase of learning, you have to read. So you can read, and then there's other kind of materials you can find and look at. But just learn to be an avid learner, be a hungry learner, and that's important for you. So the first is learning. Then the second one is listening. And what's so powerful about that is that God uses the successful lives of other people to show us really how to walk in excellence. Also, when we see people who are successful, we can, and I think this is important, we can watch how they're acting, we can watch how they're behaving, we can actually watch how they're believing for that matter. And this is an area that I learned early on, and I miss sometimes what I call the elephants in the room. I would observe somebody and think I really knew why they were successful. But if you listen to the words they speak, or if you listen to the things that they say, and one of the things I want to know is how they're processing in their mind, what they're thinking. And so learn to get around people sometimes that you would like to be like, or those that you look up to as examples, and learn to listen to the words they use, learn to listen to what they say is important. So one of the key things is not only learning, but listening, and learn to listen with a discerning ear when people are talking. And then the third action is really looking. And I like to say it this way: success leaves clues. And so by looking and allowing God to teach us, we can learn to model people's example. I heard Tony Robbins talk about this many, many years ago when he talked about discovering someone else's recipe. Well, we find that in the Bible as well, because Paul said to imitate me as I imitate Christ. And so Paul was telling the Corinthians, when he was talking to them, is look at me and watch how I live, and then imitate me as I imitate Christ. And so part of it is really discovering people's recipes. I was talking on the phone many years ago. I would say, honestly, sitting here right now is probably 40, not quite 40 years ago. And I remember I was talking to a person who was a mentor of mine on the phone, and I remember something negative had happened in my life. It was just a challenging moment. And so he was calling me. He didn't know about this challenging moment that had happened, and he had called me. And so I picked up the phone. I started, hey, how you doing? Great to hear from you. And he said to me immediately, what's wrong? Well, I thought maybe he knew something, And so I said to him, well, why are you asking? He said, well, because your voice is about 2 octaves lower than it usually is. And usually, he said, when I've talked to you before, you actually will get kind of let your voice go down. I can tell something's bothering you. I said, really? I never knew that. So my voice was 2 octaves lower when something was bothering me. And you say, well, Billy, what's the point? Well, the point is this, is that when we're looking at people's recipe, listening to the tone of their voice, even how you carry yourself in your body language, watch people and look for their personal recipe, especially those you want to emulate, because we're talking about 3 actions for investing in yourself. And here's what I learned. Now, this is going to sound whatever, but I learned that if I got discouraged or something happened, I would go out and actually intentionally raise my voice back up. And if I made myself do that for a period of time, it made my body language act like I was normal. Guess what happened? My mind, it turned, my mindset, my thinking process turned to normal. And so that's one of the things that's important. So watch people, look, success leaves clues. And when you're looking, watch and see how people respond and act, and not just what they're doing, say, with their bodies, but their voices, how they hold themselves, how they talk, how they speak. And you look at those things, then it can dramatically make a difference. So remember, the first thing is learning, and that comes by reading. You can listen to cassette tapes. You can do those things. And second is listening to other people as they teach, or listening to them as they mentor you. And of course, then the third, and this is the one that many people miss. The first 2 could be obvious to most of us, but the third one is the one many people miss, and that is learning to look. Watch the recipes that people that are successful are operating by, and then look to emulate that. Paul said, imitate me just as I also imitate Christ. So this is Billy Epphart. Thanks for watching the vlog. I'll see you right back here. Bye-bye.